Monet's views of the Thames are epic depictions of an industrial, modern city. Monet had first come to London in 1870, fleeing the Franco-Prussian War, and he had wanted to come back to London for decades. And he says he wanted to paint some fog effects on the Thames. And indeed, the Thames was very particular in its atmosphere. And that fascinated Monet when he came back to London, finally, in 1899, and was on the balcony of his hotel at the Savoy and started painting his views. So here we are at the Savoy Hotel, in the very place where Monet painted. And indeed, he decided to stay here in 1899 due to the Savoy's wonderful location on the very banks of the river. And Monet really loved to see all of the atmosphere that was over the River Thames. It was really the merging of the mist and the water vapor, the steam of the steamboats and the passing trains on the bridges, but crucially also the smoke that emanated from the factories on the other side of the bank. So he decided to paint two views. If he looked east, often in the morning, he saw Waterloo Bridge. The current bridge is actually a replacement, but the bridge that Monet knew was a wonderful kind of old stone bridge, and beyond it was this panorama of smokestacks and chimneys and mills. It's really incredible to think of how much industrial activity was taking place in the very heart of London throughout the 19th and 20th century. But Monet absolutely loved the view and was transfixed. He found London particularly fascinating, and indeed its weather, as we probably still feel today, quite varying, always changing. And for him, he said, that was the challenge. The challenge of the painter was to capture all of those effects before they were gone, before a gust of wind or a parting of the cloud changed everything. And to his wife Alice in Giverny, he wrote, "You'll never believe the amazing effects that I saw today, but none lasting more than 5 minutes. It's enough to drive one mad. No, there's no country more extraordinary for a painter." That is quite an endorsement for a foreign artist in London. But Monet was constantly looking to challenge himself, and in London, he really found his greatest challenge yet. It wasn't during his first stay, but in his second stay in 1900 is the first time that Monet actually ventured out of the Savoy, and he decided to paint the Houses of Parliament from a little bit closer up. For his third site, for his views of the Thames, Monet left the Savoy Hotel and walked down the embankment and crossed the bridge to be here at St. Thomas Hospital, to be able to paint the Houses of Parliament from across the river. It was a motif and a site that he had been thinking about, and finally in 1900 he received special permission to work in one of the empty rooms at St. Thomas Hospital and had this incredible view of the neo-Gothic Palace of Westminster, as it was called at the time. This glorious, huge complex that symbolized British imperialism. And what he decided to do actually was not to focus on the iconic clock tower and Big Ben, or indeed paint the whole of the building, but he focused on the southern end of it, the Victoria Tower and the river beyond it. Monet's views of the Thames make us look at London afresh. And so when you're next walking along the banks of the Thames, think of him and his struggles to render the atmosphere of London and the absolutely stunning paintings that came out of it.